then, lads, welcome back to Cossy's Arsenal podcast. My name is Cossy. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in all parts of the world. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to the first episode of Let's Talk. In this series, we will do a couple of free talk, a couple of pointing out maybe some points around ideas, areas, and things of concern around Arsenal. In this episode, we'll start off with William Saliba because I think, honestly, we need to talk about William Saliba, the future, the present, and the past, and basically, what exactly is the situation? What will happen? There is a lot of hope in the Arsenal fan base that William Saliba will go on to become a very great centre back at Arsenal Football Club because he's very talented, and we know he's been dubbed the Mbappe of centre backs. In my opinion, I don't disagree. He's that good, but I don't feel. I just do not feel. I don't have the vibe that communicates that he will be at Arsenal for a very, very long time. And I'm gonna tell you why in this video. My question to you lads is: Arsenal bought William Saliba 2 seasons ago for £27 million from Saint-Etienne in France. Then he formed one of the best centre-back partnerships with Wesley Fofana. In the French League One, Fofana moved to Leicester City, adopted to the Premier League very well, and he did very, very well. William Saliba signed for Arsenal, and he has never played any minutes for Arsenal in what you'd call competitive football. Of course, he's played for us in pre-season games, but he's never played for Arsenal in competitive football. And I have a feeling and I have a reason to believe that William Saliba will actually never play for this Arsenal side. The farther away he gets in, deeper he gets into his contract, the more I believe this could be a transfer which will never work out for Arsenal. He's a good player, but for other reasons, he might actually never play for Arsenal. So to understand this, lads, we are going to look at it in 3 parts. 1, the past, the present, and the future. That is how we are going to break this video down. And to start with the past, 2 seasons ago, Arsenal signed William Saliba as one of the best young centre-backs there was. 18 years of age from Saint-Etienne, 27 million pounds for a centre-back. That is remarkable because if you look at the transfer policy there is at Arsenal, despite the fact that we have tried to change our transfer policy, but it still remains in the records. The Arsenal were known that club to spend 27 million pounds on a centre back. Moreover, if that centre back was not even Premier League proven, and if that is not enough, that centre back was actually not even in the early 20s. He was a teenager. So Arsenal spent 27 million pounds on a teenager centre back. It was crazy, and it just caused all this kind of hype that this is one of the best centre backs in the world. He's gonna move to be one of the best centre backs in the world. And look, when we talk about the present, we will talk about the fact that he's actually developed faster than he was expected, because he's really, really doing very, very well on the various loan spells. He's been at Nice, he's been at Saint-Etienne as well on loan from Arsenal, and now at Olympique Marseille. But the question, in the past, why did Arsenal sign William Saliba? All of us thought that Arsenal signed William Saliba because at the time we had Rob Holding, who was actually not doing very well. Of course, we had Pablo Mari. We know the problems with Pablo Mari. I think the Premier League is too heavy for him. And we also have David Luiz that we thought, yes, he's a very, very good ball-playing centre-back, but at the time in that season, he was awful, honestly. I think he was very good in his last season at Arsenal, but the season prior to that, he was bullshit. So we went out and signed a 27 million pound young, highly rated centre-back, and we thought he would be the future of the Arsenal defence. As if that was not enough, the next summer, we signed, under Mikel Arteta, we signed a second centre back from the French League One, and that was Gabriel Magalhaes. Gabriel Magalhaes signing in from Lille Metropole. Again, another very, very highly rated Brazilian centre back. He signed for Arsenal. He was 22, and now he has already turned 23. And Gabriel, despite the fact that both Gabriel and Saliba have come into the same league and have signed for the same team, the same manager, it looks like Gabriel has found life easier in the Premier League in the UK and at Arsenal and has adapted, while Saliba has not been given the chance. So again, the past there is very, very unclear. Why did we sign William Saliba if, it really, because it kind of seemed like an emergency button, but now it is an emergency button that we didn't use in a crisis. If we look at the present right now, William Saliba has been on loan on a couple of occasions. First and foremost, when we signed him, we loaned him back to Saint-Etienne, straight back for a full season, where he did very, very well. And actually, a couple of scout reports and they're called loan watches. I don't do them really because I don't understand what they are for. But a couple of loan watches and scout reports came out and confirmed that William Saliba had actually developed further and better as compared to Wesley Fofana, something I really didn't agree with, because I felt like Wesley Fofana moving from Saint-Etienne to Leicester City, I think he really did very well in his first campaign. I think he was outstanding, remarkable, young as he is. Of course, we have to believe that Saliba is the better of the two, is better than Wesley Fofana. But Fofana coming in and settling in at Leicester City, then look, for me, I'm going to take Wesley Fofana now, because he's coming to the Premier League. He's coming to one of the best leagues in the world, the league with one of the with some of the best talents. There is in the world: Salah, Mane, Jota, the likes of Martinelli, the likes of Kevin De Bruyne. He's really done well as a defender, so you've got to pay some respects to his name. But look, so Saliba goes back on loan. He does very well, and then he comes back at Arsenal, and we all thought, this is it. This is the moment. Gabriel and William Saliba, that is the future. However, Mikel Arteta didn't think that, in the same way, and he didn't think that that would be the right move. We went on and signed a 23-year-old centre-back from Brighton in Ben White, who has actually done very well. And I think Ben White, for me, contributes 99% to the future of William Saliba at Arsenal. 99%, because believe me, Gabriel Magalhaes is untouchable in that in that back line. He's 100% untouchable. If you look at the kind of calm, if you look at the kind of unity, the kind of order, the management he provides this Arsenal center, this Arsenal backline with, I don't think he's he's touchable. There is nowhere, and there is no way Arsenal will actually get rid of him. So now, William Saliba, still talking about his present, he's on loan at Olympique Marseille, where he's done a very, very good job. He's actually done an excellent job. And Charles Watts, talking about his future, has come out and said Arsenal have already initiated the process to give him a long-term contract, to tie him down to a long-term contract. However, that has not happened yet. They have started the process. However, there is nothing agreed between the two parties. Now, what is interesting, lads, before we move to the future, is let's look at what the player thinks and where exactly Arsenal sit in his thoughts. First and foremost, when he was sent out on loan to Nice, that was the loan spell he had before the current one, the previous one before the current one. He said these words: I was ready to play for Arsenal. I wanted to play for Arsenal, and I felt like I deserved a chance. However, the manager Mikel Arteta didn't think so, and I think it was unfair. Now, there was a time when I did a video and I said, just shut up, William Saliba. Because I did that because I never wanted the Matteo Guendouzi kind of situation. I never wanted that kind of role between the manager and the player, because I know how valuable Saliba is to Arsenal as a player. He's a great asset. But of course, we know Mikel Arteta doesn't take in that nonsense. The moment you feel unhappy, then you walk out. You walk out of the door. So he came out and said, "Look, I'm not happy. It's not fair." And that was it. And we were like, right, okay, you've made your point. Keep quiet. Let's wait for the summer. When the summer came, Arsenal signed in Ben White, and he was sent out on loan to Olympique Marseille again. And the general feeling in the media, based on a couple of interviews the player held with his father, he said, "Look, Arsenal is not giving me a chance." There was a feeling of dissatisfaction. There was a feeling of unfair treatment and judgment, and he felt that there was a lot of impartiality at the club, and maybe lack of impartiality. That is it, right? There was lack of impartiality. Mikel Arteta was not impartial enough, right? And for me, that is not the point, because again, Mikel Arteta, in his defense, he's always come out and with Edu and said, "Look, these players are young; they need to be guided, and we need to give them that sort of guidance that they need." And so we are not going to let any player, be in this project when they are not good enough, and we also they will not be with us if they are not 100% committed, which I don't agree with, because I feel Saliba is 100% committed. But when we focus on his future now, lads, there is a new contract on the table from Arsenal and Mikel Arteta, with Goal.com being very specific through Charles Watts, saying that Arsenal are really ready now to integrate the player into their first team squad. I said this last summer, and I said the problem with Arsenal at the moment is that we lack an extra competition where you can provide your players, what you would call squad players, with enough game time. Look, if we're playing in the Europa League, I think William Saliba would have been more useful then. But the fact that we are not even in the Europa League, it just highlights the fact that we can't give him the game time he wants. We can't give him the number of minutes, and it's very crucial to his future, right? So we're going to qualify for Europe, either Europa League or Champions League. I'm positive, unless something bad, tragic, really happens. I think Arsenal will go back to Europe. So Willie Saliba coming back, he needs commitments. Number one, he wants playing time, regular game time, because he feels he's better than any of the two centre backs Arsenal are employing now. But maybe true, maybe not. But the chemistry between two centre backs cannot be just broken because someone is better. Honestly, Rudiger is a good centre back, but I would stay with my centre back pairing. Van Dijk is a better centre back, but I would stay with my centre back pairing. Honestly, I would. So the question, lads, is what does William Saliba think about the future? This is what he said in his recent interview. He said, "Look, Arsenal will decide my future. There will be talks held at the end of the season between Olympique Marseille and Arsenal. I love it here. I would love to stay here. It is that kind of, euphoria you get, not as a kid because he's no longer a kid, but it's that kind of euphoria you get when you are excited, right? It's that kind of euphoria, you feel this is home. And I think he feels at Olympique Marseille in France, this is home. We have had a couple of reports that Real Madrid are interested in the player, as well as other clubs, and I cannot disagree with that. I think he's really, really, really talented. He can attract those players, and also I think his development over the last 2 years, Arsenal sending him out on various loan occasions, has actually helped him very much. So many Arsenal fans view him as a long-term Arsenal player, and I view him as a deal that will get Arsenal some profit, and we'll forget about him. Why? Number one, I think Mikel Arteta has made himself very clear that players must be 100% committed to the project. I don't think he is. I don't think William Saliba is committed to Arsenal anymore. He was committed, and I think that the project right now fits his profile, but I don't think he's committed anymore. I think he's frustrated rather than committed, and it's been Arsenal's distrust, it's been Arsenal's mistrust, it's been Arsenal's lack of loyalty on their side that has actually caused all this mess. So I feel he's frustrated rather than obliged or interested in this Arsenal project. Number two, I feel like he's not going to break into this Arsenal backline easy. I think with centre backs, with centre back pairings, it's not how good each individual is. And because that is what we Arsenal fans always say. Oh, Saliba is so good, Cossy. Saliba is so good. He needs to get a place in this team. It's not how good you are individually. At times it is, yes, but it is how good you are as a half. And that is crazy when I say that, but it's true. Look, there's so many systems in the world, but there is no system where you play as an individual centre back. Like, it literally is not there. But you could play a 4-1-4-1, and you could have like a Thomas Partey or a Francis Coquelin sitting in a midfield pivot alone. It happens. But with centre back pairings, you need to be as good alone and as better as a half, because you need to be. It's all about complementarity. You need to be supportive, and then you need to be able to be supported. That is what Gabriel and Ben White provide with each other. Gabriel, look, for me, I've seen him get on the ball and do well because he's got those Brazilian instincts. But if you watched him this season, he doesn't do that anymore. He really doesn't. Yes, he plays very well. Those easy passes in the at the heart of the defense. But it comes to progressing the ball forward, then it is Ben White, right? So it's understanding each other. It's the chemistry. So the chemistry between those two, Gabriel and Ben White, I don't think it's going to be broken simply because William Saliba is that good. No, I don't think it's going to be broken simply because it's that good. But I would love to get your thoughts there. I would love to know what you think about William Saliba and the fact that Arsenal would love to retain him, but they are not sure they can meet his requirements. We want to stay him. I think he's like a very, very beautiful piece of gold, but you just can't meet the requirements to have it. For me, that's it. Yeah, you have the use for it. We have the use for William Saliba, but I feel he's too ambitious, and at the moment, sitting, coming in at Arsenal, sitting on the bench. Maybe if Mikel is gonna employ a back three, something that I don't see happening anytime soon. I don't see that happening anytime soon. He's either always gonna play a 4-3-3 or a 4-2-3-1. He's never gonna play back three. I don't see him playing a 3-4-3. I don't see him play that. So it's gonna be a 4-3-3. So what are your thoughts on William Saliba? I thought we could talk about him, and of course so many players that we will actually talk about, not as long as this video really, because with Saliba I've always held this on my chest, so I just needed to take it away from my chest. But of course in the upcoming series of Let's Talk, we'll talk about so many other things around Arsenal. Hit the like button, subscribe to the channel as well, and I'll speak to you very, very soon.